Today we'll explore who is Hamas, their origins, and their long conflict with Israel. Hamas, short for the Islamic Resistance Movement, was founded in 1987 during the First Intifada. It emerged from the Muslim Brotherhood, combining political, social, and military activity. Hamas is not just a militant group. It also runs charities, schools, and hospitals. In 2006, Hamas won the Palestinian elections, and by 2007, it controlled the Gaza Strip, where it still governs today. Hamas also has an armed wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam brigades. Since the late 1980s, Hamas and Israel have fought repeatedly. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Hamas carried out suicide bombings during the Second Intifada. After 2007, clashes with Israel grew into larger wars, including the conflicts in 2008, 2012, 2014, and later escalations. These wars often involved Israeli airstrikes and Hamas rocket attacks, causing heavy civilian suffering on both sides. The core disputes remain. The blockade of Gaza, which Israel says is for security, but Palestinians see as collective punishment. Hamas rejects Israel's right to exist, while Israel labels Hamas a terrorist organization. Peace talks between Israel and the Palestinian Authority exclude Hamas, leaving millions in Gaza stuck in political deadlock. Israel, the US, and the EU classify Hamas as a terrorist group, but countries like Qatar, Turkey, and Iran give Hamas support. This global divide shapes the ongoing conflict. Leading up to 2023, tensions grew. Gaza under blockade since 2007, leaving 2 million people trapped in poverty. Violence surged in the West Bank as Israeli settlements expanded. Clashes at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque fueled Palestinian anger. At the same time, Israel pursued normalization with Arab states, which Hamas opposed. On October 7, 2023, Hamas launched a surprise assault. Thousands of rockets were fired, and fighters crossed into Israel by land, sea, and air. They attacked towns, military bases, and a music festival, killing over 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages back to Gaza. It was Israel's deadliest day in decades. The attacks stunned the world and ignited a new war in Gaza. For Hamas, it was framed as resistance. For Israel, it was terrorism on an unprecedented scale. The cycle of violence between Hamas and Israel continues, with civilians paying the highest price. What was Hamas trying to achieve on October 7th? The attack wasn't random. It had clear goals, both political and military. First, Hamas wanted to break the status quo in Gaza. After more than 15 years of blockade, life was marked by poverty, unemployment, and restrictions. Hamas wanted to show it could still strike back. Second, Hamas wanted to reassert leadership among Palestinians. The Palestinian Authority in the West Bank had lost credibility. Hamas wanted to prove it was the real defender of Palestinian rights and Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque. Third, Hamas aimed to derail Israel's growing ties with Arab countries, including Saudi Arabia. By sparking war, Hamas forced the Palestinian issue back to the center of regional politics. Hamas also wanted to shock Israel's security system. By breaching its borders with rockets, tunnels, and even paragliders, Hamas showed Israel's defenses could be broken. Another goal was the capture of hostages. Hamas hoped to exchange them for thousands of Palestinian prisoners held in Israeli jails. And finally, Hamas wanted global attention. The scale of the October 7th attack guaranteed worldwide headlines, forcing the world to focus once again on Gaza and Palestine. In short, Hamas was trying to break its isolation, reclaim leadership, block Israel's regional deals, and force the world to pay attention to Gaza, no matter the cost. Did Hamas underestimate Israel's response after October 7th? Most experts believe the answer is yes. Hamas expected a retaliation, airstrikes, raids, maybe even a limited ground operation. But what followed was far greater than they likely imagined. One of the largest and longest military campaigns in Gaza's history. Hamas also misjudged international reactions. They may have believed global pressure would quickly restrain Israel. Instead, Many Western governments strongly backed Israel at first, giving it space to expand its campaign. Hamas placed enormous faith in surprise tactics, rockets, tunnels, and fighters breaching Israel's border. But while the attack shocked Israel, it also united the country in a way Hamas may not have expected. Hamas believed taking hostages would deter Israel from a massive escalation. Instead, Israel pressed forward with its campaign while negotiating for hostage releases at the same time. In short, Hamas achieved the shock it wanted on October 7th, but it underestimated Israel's willingness to respond with overwhelming force, no matter the cost. As of October 2025, the Israel-Hamas war has entered a fragile new stage. After months of heavy fighting, Israel and Hamas have agreed to a first-phase ceasefire deal. Under the terms, Israel will withdraw its forces from key parts of Gaza, while Hamas will release 20 living hostages in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. With fighting paused, Palestinians are beginning to return to northern Gaza, searching through ruins as aid trucks prepare to deliver much-needed supplies. This comes after some of Israel's largest military campaigns in Gaza's history, including offensives in Gaza City, Khan Yunis, and Beit Hanun, which left entire neighborhoods devastated. International monitoring has begun, with about 200 U.S. soldiers now in Israel to help oversee the ceasefire, though none are entering Gaza itself. Still, the future remains uncertain. Questions about Hamas's weapons, Gaza's governance, and Israel's long-term security are unresolved. At the same time, tensions with Hezbollah in Lebanon remain high as Israel continues strikes in the north. In short, the war has paused, but the conflict is far from over. Gaza faces immense destruction, Israel remains on high alert, and the world watches to see whether peace can truly take hold.